The manuscript of Monte Cassino is a three-piece sculpture of a hand, ankle and foot, which is thought of as a memorial to the devastation that took place during the Battle of Monte Cassino in 1944 during World War II. The sculpture can be found outside St Mary's Cathedral on Palmerston Place in Edinburgh. It was created and made by a man called Edoardo Polizzi, who was of Italian and Scottish descent. He was born in Leith, while his parents came from a village near Monte Cassino in Italy, where one of the great battles of World War II took place, killing 75,000 plus men combined from both sides. In 1940, before the Battle of Monte Cassino, Polizzi and his father were labelled enemy aliens under the Emergency Powers Act, and were put in internment camps. Like many other Italian Scots, due to Churchill's order to collar the lot, Polizzi did a stint of 3 months in the camp, but lost his father, grandfather and uncle when they were placed on a transport ship, the Arandora Star, after it was sunk by a German U-boat, which fired a torpedo and sunk the ship, which was meant to be taking them and many other Italians to Canada. We spoke to Professor DeMarco, owner of the Richard DeMarco Galleries, who feels like he's known Polizzi all of his life, due to sitting in the same seat he sat in at the high school they both went to, Holy Cross Academy. He spoke to us about what he and others should see and think when looking at the sculpture.
So when you look at that piece of sculpture, you should realise it's part of a very, very tragic story. It's the tragedy of the Second World War, but the tragedy of the Italian community who suffered greatly. Because when the men were taken away and were therefore sailing to Canada, they would be away for the whole war. And the women, the Italian women, the mothers, the grandmothers, the sisters, were left to run the businesses, the Italian confectionery shops, the fish and chip shops, the ice cream shops. And of course, it was a difficult time. So many people suffered economically, emotionally. And amongst these human beings was this boy, Edoardo Polizzi.
From what Professor DeMarco says, it's easy to see why we should not just see the tragedy of war when looking at the sculpture, but also the downfall of the Italian community in Scotland. And as heartbreaking as that is, there is another question that needs answered. What exactly does a hand, foot and ankle have to do with war and devastation, and the tragedy surrounding it? Why not have a sculpture of soldiers standing proud? Professor DeMarco was kind enough to explain why.
Well, the significance of the foot, it suggests that it's part of something else. And the hand, it's about destruction. It's about what happens when you bomb or you shell human beings. They tend to have their limbs scattered all over the place.
After finding out what the three limbs represent, the amount of casualties lost, and the way it affected all types of people, you look at the sculpture in a different light. It is no longer an intriguing piece of art you may walk past on your way to or from town or home. It's a piece of history of the war, a piece that belongs to Edinburgh, to Scotland, to Britain, and to Italy. It's a reminder of the destruction war brings, a reminder of what people will do to protect their country, and the lengths they'll go to do that.
So I want you to know that this film that you are making has a historic significance, and it's an important film, and I congratulate you.
Looking at her now, I feel nothing. The touch of her skin, the sound of her voice, nothing. There was a time when all those things made me feel giddy, made me feel like love was the be-all and end-all. It made me feel that all those cheesy and shit rom-coms, they were actually onto something. The only one that really speaks to me now is 500 Days of Summer, and all that taught me was that true love will tear you in half, rip out your heart, eat it and spit it back out in front of you.
Seth, we need to sort this out. We're in a slump. We can fix it with professional help, but I just don't think that we should call it quits on something that's clearly meant to be. Something that's so true and pure.
Of course we're not going to call it quits. Me and you, we've got something real. Of course we're not just going to go our separate ways. You and me, we can get through anything. What a goofy bitch. Why try and fix something that's clearly broken? Why not just accept defeat like any normal Scottish person? It's not like we don't already do it perfectly as a nation. I wish I could say how I really feel. That I'm miserable, but I'm not an idiot. If I'm going to live here, I'm going to do it with the least amount of drama possible. I can't believe I didn't make myself sick with that awful, disgusting spiel. I sounded like Hugh Grant in every Hugh Grant film ever. We're going today. She's asked me to wear a shirt. One that she bought me a couple of years ago. It's probably the ugliest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. But it probably says something about us to her, symbolises something. About our future, possibly. The only thing it says to me is that I look like a massive twat for the rest of the day. If I was to pick a symbol, it would be the Batman one. But instead of a bat, it would just be a massive knob in the sky. And Mr. Officer Gordon would have to shine it in the sky every time he wanted a good laugh after a bad day at work.
Stuck in here in this office with this pretentious prick. He's wearing a piano tie. We're meant to take advice from a man in a piano tie. He can't be married. If he is, I'd like to see the goofy cow that's married to a man with a fucking piano tie.
So as I said already over the phone, my name's Quentin, marriage counsellor, have been for 3 years. Obviously you guys have some issues that we're going to try and work through over the next few weeks or months or however long it takes. So we're going to record the sessions just on devices, so we can look back at them in the future and see the progress. Obviously you both have stuff you want to get off your chest, so Seth, why don't you take us off?
Could you come back to me? Can't really think of anything that's wrong.
Right then.
I don't want to tell the brutal honest truth that the spark's gone and I don't love her anymore in front of a total stranger. That look would freeze over hell.
Well, I guess I'll start off then. That's a perfect example of what's wrong. He doesn't care anymore. He cares more about going out with his mates and having a pint than he does talking to me. He's like a kid again. All he does is come home from work, eat Doritos, watch TV. I remember the way he used to look at me, and I'll be lucky now if he even glances at me.
Nag, 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 she's still going on. She's not exactly holding back, is she? Calling me lazy, a child, not a man anymore. Well, fuck this. They're both staring at me. Might as well give it both barrels. Well, really, I feel like the spark's gone. I feel like I don't love her anymore. And every time that they talk to each other, I feel like a Dementor is sucking the soul out of me, in all honesty.
Did you listen to anything she said there?
I heard her call me a man-child and lazy and berate me in front of a total stranger.
Oh. Maybe we should just take a listen to the recording.
I feel like he'll never change. I don't mind. I'll change with him. I'm willing to lie about playing video games and not doing anything social all day apart from going to the pub. I don't really mind, as long as it's with him. He's all I need.
She's gone. She's taken her clothes.
I almost expected a fairy tale ending. A happily ever after. All that crap. Instead, an indie ending. Not really sure what's happened or if it's close to the end. And then a good old fashioned cut to...
James, you know there's some kids hanging out at your car?
You're joking me.
It looks like something Batman crapped out.